Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Welcome to the forest, Rissu Forest to be specific. So I'm starting up what is in essence a survival challenge series. You can see I've got $0. There's other folks that I'm sure everyone's familiar with, like Daggerwin and others, who are certainly way better at this than I am, but definitely a style of gameplay I've always enjoyed. And so I decided at this point, since I've got the FSN series that obviously keeps me pretty busy, as a fill-in and just something totally different, I'd like to start up with, older, smaller, newer equipment. So that's what we've got here, is the normal type of thing with a tractor, a trailer, and a chainsaw. So, and $0, and we're going to go ahead and see what we can do. And hopefully this will be something that folks enjoy and can get involved and excited about. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. Similar to the normal type thing, there are some settings that I'm going to be using initially, just so that, again, we can make progress, because I've not really seen it done any other way, which is we will be using super strength to be able to pick up some trees in the beginning, because otherwise we'd have to make them so small that we'd never be able to make any kind of progress. So the only way we can really make money right now is that way. Also, the selection of this map, there was a little bit of a challenge in trying to figure out exactly where I was going to try this. Calmlands was something that I would have certainly used, but I see Daggerwin's actually started up a series on that, and honestly, after looking at that map, there's not really a spot other than what he's already selected that is actually really terribly useful on that map. And I'm not looking to make it the same type of series as someone else is doing. No Man's Land is obviously one that everybody uses. I've done it before, just individually in FS19, not anything I've put up on the channel, obviously. And then there were really only a couple others. Crooked Hills, which is based on No Man's Land, but I felt was just too, just not ready to be really used. It didn't work with me, and so I settled on Rissu Forest, because the challenge ends up being you want something that has some areas you can scrub out an existence in, but you obviously need somewhere to deliver things and so forth. And so this is pretty basic. We'll just take a quick look here. We're up in this area. This is the only industry. You can see there are fields on the map, so there's other people there. Again, other than Calmlands, there really isn't a viable map in FS22 right now for this type of gameplay. I had to compromise and just say, we're not starting with a field, we're just going to start here in the center. And so you're able to buy, plots that don't have fields. And so I wanted something so that it wasn't extremely tedious, that was a little close to where I had to deliver things and sell goods, but yet, not entirely adjacent and so forth. And so this is the one I selected. Here we are in the center here, and my intent is, unless we have something strange going on, I'm going to leave this at 5 times speed, which means there's only so much we're going to be able to get done in a day. I'm going to look for mods, not just in Mod Hub, but anywhere. So I'm kind of open if people have things to suggest that they've come across that they think might work well in this series. Always happy to take a look at it. Obviously, plows, seeders, and things are the things I'm going to need initially. I've got those selected. I found the old SK4 harvester that used to be an FS19 that was used whenever, we do this kind of gameplay, because it was cheap and semi-functional. But, right now I'm not seeing a whole lot of other things out there, so I've spent some time getting mods together, and at this point I just need to clear out enough space to get myself a small field you know, but then the challenge going to be what do we put in on it, and what do we harvest it with? Because there's not a lot we can do, and so there may be a lot of tree work in the beginning. I'm hoping not, but you know, let's get going here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one down. So that wonderful FS22 sound as it goes down. Let's see. No, this isn't. You know, I thought this would work. Oh, there we go. Some of them are going away, but not enough of them, so I'll have to go back. So, not as good at this as some folks are, obviously. Maybe I just need to wiggle it a little bit more. There we go. Because I know it can be done. Alright, there we go. I don't have to make you all sick now. So these are certainly larger trees. So, you know, we'll see. So let's see, 34 meters. Well, I guess we've cut it, so let me see what these look like. For, I think if I let that go, no. Alright, so we can get that down. And then, you know, we'll see what one of these looks like, and also if we can actually move it with this tractor. You know, it's not a tiny tractor, but I wanted something, again, that fit the series at least reasonably well. So, you know, it's not a super high-end. I think it's 70 or 80 horsepower, but I think I cut that a little bit long, so we'll get this. Kind of the tail end of these trees isn't always terribly useful, but we'll see. And I think because these trees are thicker, it's going to allow that. I may have left too much there. Yeah, I'm not sure. That might be, yeah, that's too long. So let me cut that in half. And then we'll get that over. But yeah, as large as these are, this may actually not end up being as difficult as I typically have when I try this, because these are pretty old growth trees, it looks like. So that makes things a bit more yeah, a little easier to make some money on. Whoops, well, that didn't work. The biggest challenge here, I do think, yes, is going to be exactly what we've got, is that there's not really level land here. So there's definitely some challenges. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to strap this at this point. Why is this not? Oh, it's probably helpful if I use the right key. But yeah, if I strap those on, and then, you know, we'll be good for that portion. But the goal is also, you know, can't rent equipment. You know, so anything we use we have to buy, which means we have to save up for anything else we want to use. And so there were a couple things. I was potentially looking at the Seeder tractor, which is a bonus tractor that was able to be used, I think, based on some either pre-purchases, or I think that might have been if you get the year 1 pack, it work that way. Do I have everything here? I think I do. Oh, nope. One more hunk here. So, yeah, that one looks like it might be a bit long too, but see if I leave it hanging off the end of the trailer, if it's at least workable. Looks like that might work. Alright, so let's see if this will actually function. Well, aside from the fact that I can't steer because I have that put in there right against the back of my tractor, so that giant log needs to, something needs to happen with it. Probably the thing that really needs to happen with it is it needs to be cut. So let me see, can I do that? Yes. Alright. And then we'll pull that piece out, put it over here. No, that's not going to work. Always something. Always something to make life interesting. Goodness, what do I do with this? Because yeah, I can't. I'd be ashamed to not find some way to put this on. Let's see. Alright. Not the greatest, but it's a survival challenge, so let's see if we can just find our way. So there really aren't any roads on this map. There's walking paths, so there are people walking around. So as I said, you know, not a perfect map. Yeah, this is certainly not going super fast. So, I don't have it on manual that I know of. Okay, so yes, I don't have it on manual. It is on automatic, although I think I may want to have it on manual because clearly this is a problem. But yeah, I found these FiatAgris on, I think they may have been on ModHub. I'll try to put the links of what I'm using here into the description in the video, so I'll definitely find them. The trailer is part of the base game, so it's the Bachmann. The trick is you've got to find it in miscellaneous. It's not visible in trailers, which is where initially when I went looking for something like this, I then was like, well great, I gotta find something on ModHub, and I couldn't find it. Wow, this is really having a hard time. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this to manual. So at this point, we are there. I think if I put it on 2, I'd still have enough pulling power. But if I go beyond the second gear, this gets pretty miserable pretty fast. So because there are no roads, I think I'm just going to be running through the forest as much as possible. Maybe eventually we'll come up with something. Maybe we'll put in a road to the edge here to get us to the end of our property. Our property, again, does not butt up against the sell points here. But we should be able to sell everything. I'm going to go ahead and give us this perspective. That's got to be a lot more fun than following me through trees where you can't see anything anyway. So, you know, this will give you a perspective of what I've got to do to get here, and then, you know, more than likely I'll not make you drive along with me on this long, slow trip, however many times I need to take it. So obviously the first thing we need is enough space. So I probably need at least a couple more trees out. I mean, the nice thing is this isn't a very dense forest, so you know, it does give me some options. Wow, this is a hill and a half here. Let me go down. I think I need all the power I can get. I'm thinking this is a fenced-in area, so there's basically an entrance on the east and the west side. So, you know, we've just got to come in where we can, and it looks like, yeah, so there's the fence, as you can see, but we've got a shed right there, and I think the entrance is here. So we should be able to do that. We'll just have to make sure, because this is, I think, the walking path. Shouldn't scare anybody coming up here at 3 miles an hour, but you know, we want to be nice and not run people over. I'm not sure where the sell point for the wood is. I'm in the wrong place. There's a sawmill on the map, and the sawmill is quite a ways away. Alright, so here we are. This looks like some place that will take logs. That definitely looks better. So, looks like we can repair our equipment there. But let me unstrap this. And let's see what we get. Make sure that we can see it, see if it all goes away. Alright, 5,000, which is kind of what I thought. So that is certainly good. The question is, how many trees do we really need to give ourselves some space here? So, I'll see you back at the farm. Alright, so I've gone ahead and given myself some space. You can see here we've got a lovely tent that's going to be our home. Got a little bit of a fire pit there. Not really any flat land around, but because these rocks were here and they're going to be unlikely to be able to be moved, I just wanted to take that chance, and that also gives me some sort of a frame of reference, because the thing that I determined when I came back, although here we go, I guess it was here, so yeah, the thing I determined very quickly when I came back is I have no idea where I cut that tree down, because I did you know, get rid of the stump as well, and you know, then suddenly I had no idea, because you know, just like hikers get lost in the woods all the time, it was kind of the everything looks the same. So, but yeah, I think I cut it down in that space, so we'll just have to figure out what we're doing. But we'll get this piece picked up, so that must have either fallen off when we were loading and I didn't notice it, or we truly didn't realize it was just laying there. So the good news is a tree will be more than $5,000 probably. But now, you know, we've got our home there, so you can see down the hill. It's just a question of, you know, how far away do we want to be in creating our field. It just seems this is at least a little bit flat up in this area. So I think, you know, I'm obviously going to keep going, and what I may do is leave the stumps for a bit until I have enough material to where I feel I can start to plow things out. But if I can start to lay the field down tonight, that would be really excellent. So that would be the goal. So 6,123 additional dollars. So we're up above 10,000 already. So certainly there's money to be made on the ground that we have there. It's just obviously going to take some time to earn. So to make things a little bit easier, and obviously since we're already past lunchtime here, I am going to go ahead and see if I can find myself a plow that I'm going to use to start to cut out the field. And if I can make a little bit of a few furrows in the ground, that'll just do everything we need to get ourselves where we need to be situated, and then we can kind of make a decision on how big a field we're going to start out with. Definitely should be able to do pretty well. Like I said, the trees give us a good amount of space. The challenge, however, is there's no way I'm going to be able to pull more than one tree with this tractor at this point. Again, not surprising. I was worried those were rocks, but they're not. So even if I have to take out, say, 10 trees or something, that's going to take some time, and we may not be able to progress at the pace we'd like. So the other thing I did make a decision on, which is pretty common again for a survival type series, because otherwise it's just hard to make progress and you're playing with the weather rather than playing with the challenge of having limited funds, is seasons are off, so I can plant whatever I want whenever I want. So again, some people may feel that's inappropriate, but it's really not something I found that makes for an enjoyable series otherwise, because then we're looking at significant amounts of time where we just can't do much of anything. And if you think we'll be doing a lot of trees as it is, we would be doing a lot of trees because there'd be nothing else to do for days and days on the farm while we waited for our quarter acre or however much we're ultimately going to plant to get done. So let's take a look at what we've got as options for plows. So we've really only got a couple items. We can also use cultivators. Okay, so the challenge we have on the cultivators, the smallest cultivator available to us, which is only 2.5 meters, requires 90 horsepower, which we don't have. Our tractor is 80. And obviously with the hills and so forth, that's going to be more challenging. This one also exceeds our capability. It's 85. This requires 10, and this requires 40. So both of these are workable. There's another option I think I have. So this requires 6.5. I'm sorry, 65, and it's 1.5. I'm just getting myself confused. And this requires 70, and it's also 1.5. In reality, I don't know that 1.5 meters is that much more than 1.3, and this requires less horsepower and is significantly less. So I believe this really should be what we go with here. So let's go ahead and buy that. Should be able to throw that onto the trailer. Let me take a look then while I'm here, since I didn't spend as much as I thought, what options we have here. So this is 3 meters, this is 2, this is 3. Oh, this is only takes 50 liters at a time. Wow. We'll be filling that constantly, but I don't know that that honestly matters. I'm going to try that because, again, it's almost 1/10 of the price. So it's really hard to justify trying to do something else, whatever that is. I see that would be if we're going to tow something behind. So for now, I think, again, these are Polish. So Kutnowiak. And given that I speak Polish, nic is nothing, and I don't know what zaczep is, but so it's probably nothing, and then having a hitch of some sort. So at this point, if we need to add that, we can, but there's no point in going ahead and doing that otherwise. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And given that in theory, you know, we're in France here, it certainly is viable to use other European type implements, which is partially why we've got, whoops. You know, the good thing with a 2-meter seeder is I think I'm going to be able to put that on and get that on the trailer. So let me do that. Disconnect myself here, go get myself the plow first. I'll put that up on the top end because I know that's easily going to fit. And, you know, the thing that's good with this is this isn't one of those rotating ones. I'm terrible with those kind of plows. So I specifically didn't even consider any of those. And it's not as if I saw something that was really viable. I'm really pushing my luck here, I think. But let's see if I put that down. Got that up there. And then we'll put the seeder on, and the good news is, you know, with barely $2,000 spent, in fact, I don't think we even did spend $2,000, we've got a plow and a seeder. I'd say that is a pretty good result for... are we going to get stuck? Nope, luckily we're not. So let's see, if I put that there, is it going to roll off? Doesn't look like it, so I'll go connect. Well, you know what, I'm gonna hop off and strap them down. That person is looking like, what are you doing? I don't know that I can blame them. But they've obviously stopped and decided this is way more fun to watch than continuing on their way. So, and as I said, I can't really blame them for that, because I'd probably be doing the same thing, because frankly it is a little bit fun to watch. So you know what, I'll probably do it here, honestly. So that should get the trailer in position. It does. We'll unstrap it. Oops. Unstrap it. And then we'll drive off. Again, it's just easier right now under the trees to kind of drive in the cab in first-person view, at least somewhat. Probably. Let's see. I can see out the back. I was going to say it might make more sense to go a different way, but it works. So we'll get this off, and as I said, we'll go put these by the tent so I know where they are. The other problem we're going to have with this thing not being level is I'm hoping I'm not going to find this laying in my neighbor's field at some point, because it just rolls down the hill. But I guess we can only do what we can do there. But yeah, as far as eventually putting up sheds or something here, this is going to definitely be interesting. This looks a little flatter than anything else. Alright, it is staying put. Hopefully because it's leaning forward like that, it will do that. And yeah, as far as the shape of the field or anything, I don't really have a preference. So, so I think I'll just, you know, put, like I said, something in the ground to make it obvious. It's not as if I'm planting anything right now, because frankly I don't know what I'm going to plant, but I need to figure out, you know, what the field's going to look like anyway. Oh boy. Well, that's not good. Alright, let me drop that down. That's going to be a problem. So, am I not going to... Oh, I wonder if it's because it looks like it's still strapped down. I wonder if I restrap that somehow. So yeah, never a good thing when your tractor is pirouetting on itself on the front end. Tractors aren't really made to do that, so that can be a problem, but it does appear that maybe it was because the plow was still strapped to the trailer. Alright, so even in this case, like, where's this stump? So yeah, I need to get a field cut in here. There it is. Okay. So you begin to see my dilemma and why I just decided I'm going to do this, because, you know, maybe once I have a few more trees out, it'll become a little more obvious. I think I'm still in the wrong place. Goodness gracious. Alright, there's the trailer. Maybe it's up this way. There's the stump. Okay. So what we're going to do is I am going to cut this. I'm basically going to put that stump in the center. And then we'll figure out which way we want to go. So let me see. I want to lower the plow. I want to allow create fields, because otherwise we're not going to be able to do anything. And there we go. That is not doing what I would have expected it to do. At least some of those bushes are vanishing. That's a good thing. Okay, let me hide this away. A little bit of a challenge with these plows, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why the green foliage is not going away. But yeah, if I go this way, and then we'll kind of go at a little bit of an angle because we've got trees otherwise, and then we'll close ourselves off. And maybe we'll make another pass or two to make it more obvious, because clearly this plow is not doing what one would expect it to do. So maybe an interesting anomaly of the map, I don't know, but clearly I assume they would think that people might cut their own fields at some point. Because yeah, that looks okay there, but now it looks a little better. But yeah, there's that, whatever that foliage is a bit more challenging to see. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a few rows here. You know, maybe, you know, try to get some of this field plowed. And then we'll see where we're at and how late it is in the day, given that we're already into some mid-afternoon here. I don't know if I'll be able to go get another tree or not. But we do need more money for the harvester, but I do have some hope here that we can eke ourselves out a living here, given that obviously there's such demand for wood. Maybe it's post-pandemic demand, but again, we do have to keep in mind those are very large trees we're taking down, which is excellent. So that's an advantage over, I think, the trees that are on something like Calmlands that are a bit smaller. So we've got some old growth forest here in France, and that is working to our advantage. So anyway, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so got enough of a field that it's obviously easy enough to see it at this point. Yeah, what I need to do is figure out, well, let me connect up to the trailer anyway. I think I'm just going to take out that tree that's there next. Because, yeah, it didn't take us a terribly long amount of time to get that plowed out, but we can see here, you know, you can see our seeder sitting down there. But yeah, we've got these little weeds that just didn't get taken out. We'll see what happens when we plant later. Also notice we've got mushrooms growing over here. If only those could be a crop. We've already got some natural start. So yeah, the question really becomes, maybe I should go this way. It's very similar, because I think I can go a little ways here. It's just like once I really get, like I think at this point, I'm starting to get too steep. So it would almost be like up here might be my upper boundary, and then head more toward the tent. And that might be a good start for our initial field. So maybe take out these 4 trees here, maybe a little bit further, maybe these 6. And then take out these 3 at the top end at a minimum. And see what it feels like and what it looks like at that point. So let me go ahead. I'm going to spend some time taking out some trees then for the remainder of the day until we lose some daylight here, which, you know, is going to be sooner than later, I think. So I'll keep working on that. I don't know that I'm cutting my trees, but anyway, I'll keep working on that, and I'll show you what we've got a little bit later. Alright, so at this point, I'm down to probably the last tree for the day. So yeah, there's harvesters that are basically, we could afford at this point. So after this tree, the rest will just be additional funding that will help us get things going. But I definitely need to make sure I have some crop planted tomorrow so that we have everything growing pretty quickly, because again, the goal with any of these survival series is to start making some progress. Alright, so the next thing we're going to need are some seeds. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple bags of those. I'm not quite sure how much we're going to need, but over time, obviously, we're going to need those seeds. So let me head on over here, and we'll get these loaded up. I'm pretty sure that they've got some sort of a forklift or something here. Alright, there we go. Had it parked over at the side. Get it a little closer to the end, because I think the closer to the end I can get them, the further I can get them on. Well, that's the highest I can get them, so hopefully this will work. And we'll put them down. Should probably strap these down before I lose them on the way. And you can start to see the little bit of gray that we've dug out as our field, so it gives you a little perspective of like field 1 and 7 that are real fields and the little speck that we've got so far. But good news is we'll be able to expand that. What I'm ultimately going to need to do, however, is hopefully get these seeds emptied off into the seeder. But that's going to be a bit more of a challenge, because otherwise I'm going to have some difficulty with getting the ability to move more trees, because at this point, obviously, it's getting dark. It's already 7 o'clock, and we don't need to be working in the dark right now. So I think we've definitely got a good start today. We've got 5 trees taken out. It's given us some ability to expand, so we're going to go ahead and basically kind of take the field up to this space here and run it around and expand that. And then, as I said, I think ultimately what I'm going to want to do is take these others out. Just not sure if I'm going to do that. This may be enough to get going for the first cycle, and that may be what I want to do. And then, we can use the seeds and so forth. So I think tomorrow, when we start, we will finish plowing the field. We'll start seeding it. We're also going to need to get a spreader and get some fertilizer. So we're going to have that as well. So we've definitely got plenty of work to get done. But let me head down here. Some real nice lights in our cabin. We've got that lantern. Nice place to sleep. Sit around and relax, but we're protected from the elements. We've got walls. We've got flaps I can close later. Nice place to sit. So definitely a nice start here. And we've been pretty successful in what we've been able to pull off this first day. Didn't know what to expect, but pretty good result at this point. So, hope you've enjoyed this first day of Survival Challenge, and I will see you next time.